Crypto is the incredible opportunity to be a part owner of a project through token ownership. And yet, in order to feel comfortable doing that, most people want to have two basic questions answered. First, what is the problem that this project or protocol solves? And second, what is the value proposition for the token? Is there any kind of value accrual mechanism or value underlying the token itself to back it? What makes this token worth something? In this video, we'll explore just that and talk specifically about Meta Engine, a river of value flow for the Shade token. Before we can get there, we need to take a look at the problem that Shade is solving. And that involves an uncomfortable secret of DeFi right now, that DeFi is fully engaged in an unsustainable race to sustainability. DEXs have adopted this core assumption that the path to user adoption is high emissions of their token. So if we have high APR offering our native DEX token, then we'll build a user base that values that token because they have enough of it. So here's the reality. Protocols defer treating their token as valuable today in the hope that it will be treated as high value down the road. If that sounds contradictory, if that sounds like it violates some of the core principles of economics, it's because it actually does. Can you think of a situation where you've seen that actually work for a DEX? This race of unsustainable emissions competing for liquidity with other DEXs who have the same strategy can only ever do one thing, and that is devalue the token. If it sounds flawed and like there has to be a better way, Shade agrees, and that's what Meta Engine is all about. Meta Engine is a comprehensive, interconnected financial ecosystem, an interwoven economy of apps that communicate and harmonize seamlessly throughout the system. It is this river of value flow to the Shade token because every app is designed to work with the other Shade protocol apps in a system designed to hold and preserve value for Shade. Often protocol and token value accrual in DeFi is like trying to hold water in your hand. That value is leaking all over the place, bleeding inefficiently throughout the system. But Meta Engine functions a bit like an actual combustion engine should. A real engine needs two important things to work. First, a vacuum with enough initial pressure to spark that potential energy. And second, that newly created energy must then transfer efficiently throughout the system to power the engine. And that kind of describes Meta Engine. It's an efficient system of energy creation and distribution. You can see the system of cohesive apps creates that river of value flowing back to the protocol. So the question is, as the protocol receives those fees, what does the Meta Engine do with that to prove self-sustaining? First is protocol-owned liquidity. The DAO holds a balance sheet of assets in order to both establish and then increase its value. That protocol-owned liquidity is, in a sense, the balance sheet for Shade. A second function within Meta Engine is token buybacks and burn. The DAO can acquire and or purchase Shade in order to hold and or burn Shade. A third function is staking rewards. Part of the fee stream back to the DAO goes back to stakers in the form of staking rewards for Shade. A fourth function is yield-bearing assets. The DAO holds a variety of assets in order to generate passive yield for the protocol, and these include liquid staking derivatives like staked secret, staked atom, and also providing liquidity on ShadeSwap. A fifth core function is smart contract operational gas costs. Now, as you can see, Meta Engine was built with an entirely different set of values and assumptions than the typical architecture for protocol design. So what are the distinctive principles that make Meta Engine possible? First, no new tokens per application. Adding new tokens for new DeFi products within Shade protocol would simply fracture value across multiple tokens. Shade will never do that. A second guiding principle is to expand the breadth of apps in order to decrease protocol costs. Basically, Shade aims to be a one-stop shop for private DeFi. It's already well on the road, but the idea here is to make the river deeper and wider. In doing so, that fee stream of value accrual back to the DAO, the protocol, and by implication, the Shade token. A third guiding principle is to expand the breadth of apps to increase utility, fees, and security. Number 4, utilize fees to build protocol-owned liquidity, which enhances the utility of both apps and the Shade token. 5th, combine and share capital across apps to avoid fractured liquidity. 6, return fees to protocol stakers. 7, prioritize the most efficient form of assets, like liquid staking derivatives. And 8, unify user experience experiences across all apps. The Shade Meta Engine focuses on creating a sustainable closed-loop ecosystem tied to user demand of these DeFi products. As a result, it creates this unified river of value accrual flowing back to the protocol and the Shade token. Shade protocol has dropped out of the unsustainable race for sustainability and redesigned what sustainable DeFi looks like. As a result of Meta Engine, Shade protocol has the opportunity to become a platform that consists of every key financial app in an entirely demand-driven, self-sustaining fashion. This is the future of private DeFi. This is what sustainable DeFi looks like thanks to Meta Engine.